Okay, now we can talk. See how weird it is with communication? Sometimes you think you talk and actually you don't because something is in between that doesn't let you. So, today actually we're going to talk about that because in reality what's going on is that we're struggling. We're struggling because the majority of behavior issues in dogs stem from the reality that humans don't communicate the same way they do. So we misunderstand each other. And guess what? How many times have you talked to a friend, partner, kids, and you told them something, and at the end, it ended up not being done what you told them to do? And if you ask them, well, I told you, and like, no, you didn't tell me, you told me that. So even if we talk with human language and trying to convey an information, it always depends on our communication skills and our ability to transfer that idea and that information towards the receiver. So we have to see it kind of like an antenna, right? We have the antenna and we have the receiver. And so we try to modulate our information to a frequency that the receiver can perceive. It's in radio. Basically what we do is we just tune in. We know what we're looking for and we tune in to find that language that we want. But when we talk about dog training, dogs have a certain expectations. They are on one channel constantly. And so what we need to do is find that frequency that our dog has. Good morning. Do you guys have a coffee mug? Is it just me? who have dogs coffee mugs. I love coffee mugs that there are dogs on there. And it says, yeah, if I don't know if you can see it, it says here, today been rough. Not really. um, Actually, I had a conversation this morning with my wife, and sometimes, usually we wake up in the morning and do our plans for the day. And I had a conversation with my dear friend Linda Michaels the other day, and we were talking about how the dog industry, is going downhill. And one thing that we came across is that there is a lack of accurate information. So, and we know from statistics that bad or gossip travels faster than the truth. So, if we see it from our perspective, things that impresses us in one way or the other, things that we feel for some reason internally are threatening, we will more likely to share. Is it weird, right? So, did ever somebody call you, hey, listen, we have an awesome weather today? No. What they told you is, hey, problem happened, this happened, that happened. And it's kind of like our need, the way our brain works, to capture threat and danger and process it much easier than it is safety. So safety is normal, but threat, ooh, now we pay attention to it. And so the whole film industry is like that. But is this a good thing? When we work with dogs, we need to actually understand that concept. The dogs are more likely to pay attention to a threat than to something that is not threatening. Mm? And this is where, unfortunately, the majority of the dog industry is onto. In this way of communicating that fear and drama, and you grab on that. And at the same time, that fear and drama is what makes dogs avoid things. And then all of a sudden, we use these aversive tools to have the dog do what we want. But in reality, we haven't really communicated anything. All we did is basically create that fear, and the dog has to figure out how to solve it. So, and I thought we can talk about something new that is not so new. It's something that we actually forgot. I want you to help remember this old thing that we have and see it from a new perspective. So I want to create that bridge, and that's why the picture that I um, posted today um, in this video to help us recognize that we need to let go of the past and look into the potential of that relationship. So if you look at that picture here, and I know it's more symbolic here, okay? So I'm the we don't see we've in the past we were focusing on the trauma and the problem, right? We see the dog is bad behaving, he does this, he does that, right? And we're focusing on it, and then we try to fix that. And I would like you to think in a different way. I would like you to think in a dog's solution instead of focusing on the problem. Because just like all the animals go into fight and flight response, our brain is likely to go there. But we are sentient beings just like dogs are, and we have this immense brain capacity and start manifesting things. And we can say, hey, wait a minute, why am I looking at the bridge in the wrong direction? I should look in the future. How will I ever dare going over that bridge if I'm not knowing where I'm going? How will I let go of the past if I want to go to the future? If I pass that bridge, I have to let go of what troubles me. So I need to see the dog's behavior solution and what is it looks like. And then we have to start thinking on something new. Does it make sense? Am I irrational here? What do you think? Can you leave your past behind? Do you have to burn it? Or we can just learn from it and then focusing in the future without carrying all this luggage from the past. Because all we're going to end when we pass the bridge, we're going to carry all this crap with us to the other side, and then we carry it. And then we don't have room for something new. So you have this luggage that hangs on your shoulders, dog's behavior, aggression, this and that. And then you pass that bridge and you're on the other side, and there's something new for you to get. And then you don't have a place for you to take it in because you're stuck with all this crap. So we are in a society, and we are in a thinking process to hoard those negative emotions and those negative behaviors of a dog, and then we don't let them go. Have you seen a dog when he goes to a complex situation, he simply shakes it off? Why is that? What is he actually shaking it off? What is shaking off? It's a communication skill. It's a way to express to the environment that what came to me is not more further needed, and I just shake it off. And of course, you tell me, yeah, whatever. Dogs get wet the shake all the time. Exactly. So if we look at that behavior and see what the dog is trying to convey to us, we see that water or dirt is on the dog, and it doesn't make him feel comfortable. And he makes a decision. He makes a decision to get it off, and then all he has to do is shaking it off. He doesn't scratch it off. He doesn't talk it off. He doesn't bark it off. He shakes it off. So I would like you guys to do an exercise with me if you want. You don't have to. We are in a free will plane. So put your coffee mug aside, okay? And you maybe want to strap your pants closer. And I would like you to get up. And I will try to make that happen. and just shake it off like that. Like literally loose hands and just shake it off like that. Just a little bit. I know some of you guys have more stuff hanging like I do, but maybe you want to kind of take it easy and just let your shoulders fall down a little bit and then move a little bit. I know, right? You tell me, hey, what the heck are you doing? I thought we are going to talk about dog training. Where does dog training start? And where does behavior modification starts? It starts with you. You are the conveyor to that future because your dog is dependent on you. Exactly, Barbara. Because we keep doing things all over again. That's me. I'm not pointing at you. I'm not pointing at anybody else. I'm pointing at me because I am the one who has for a very long time chewed on the same stuff all over again, trying to make a difference. It's like always drinking the same coffee from the same coffee mug and then waiting for some point to change the flavor. It will not. It was always the same coffee. Speaking of. So when you do this shaking exercise, I would like you to notice how do you feel. Do you feel that tension go away? Interesting, right? This is tickling in your hands, and I would like you to do the same thing, having in mind something that bothered you yesterday, and see if you can shake it off. And I would like you to imagine that you're standing on a solid ground, like a tree, right? And I would like you to ground yourself. And here's how we ground. Imagine you are a nice tall tree, beautiful, with nice colors, whatever you like. And then on your feet, you can feel those roots expanding. And you can feel how solid you become having those roots on the ground. And even if you sit on the chair like I do, make sure your feet are flat on the floor. Take your slippers off for a little bit. You don't have to freeze yourself up. Take your slippers off a little bit, even if the cat or the dog chews on it, just a little bit, and focusing on your feet and make sure the feet are really flat, touching the ground. And now let those root ground in. And then I would like you to take a deep breath in. And as you take the deep breath in, I would like you to collect all these memories that come up into your mind, all this small talk, monkey talk, and then make a thought to shaking it off and let it settle down all the way down to the end of your feet. And then picture these little valves on your cubs and open them up and let this drain out your feet as you breathe out through your feet. So breathe in and shake it down through your feet into the ground. Okay? Now, capture one thought that you have, only one. For example, your electrical bill. Stupid example. Take a deep breath in. I'm worried about my electrical bill. And I'm shaking it in, down, through my legs, everywhere where this bill is stuck into my body. I want to push it through the end of my feet. And when I breathe in the solution to my problem. Don't need to imagine what solution is. Just imagine the idea that you can find the solution. And then you breathe it in. From the earth, from the ground, I have the solution. And then push it up. And imagine you're connected to this divine field that is occupied by your smarter part. And then convey that information to that is your smarter part. And then once you send that information out, you're going to breathe in the solution that you want from your smart part. Okay? So you breathe in the thoughts that you have, you breathe out to the ground the thoughts that you have, and then you breathe in the idea that you want the solution and push it up to your smarter part, telling it, hey, I want to have that solution. I will focus on the solution. And then when you breathe in, you're going to breathe in the solution and let it sit in your body. Because now what's going to happen is your body and your mind will adjust to that existing solution that is out there that is perfect for you. Now, what does it have to do with dog training? Hmm. Let's think of that. Your dog has behavior issues, and the problem here is communication. And you tried all over the same thing, doing all over again. You use shock collars, you use prong collars, you use shaker cans, air horn, you name it, you've done it. But what is that hangs on your back? Huh? So if you have this backpack and you pull it forward, what is in there? Let's look at it. So I open that backpack. What do I find? Oh, fear. Fear of what? Ask the question. What are you afraid of? And be honest. What is that I'm afraid of? Here's some things that I was afraid of in the past. I was afraid what the neighbors would say. Me walking down the street with a jerking, fighting, yelling, barking dog. And I was ashamed. And that made me angry. Huh. So that looked like fear was basically anger. Okay. What I can do to do that? I'm gonna cut it up, right? So I'm gonna cut off that idea, that connection that I have, right? And that tells me, hey, what you thought so far is based on fear. It's based on the illusion that somebody will judge you. But in reality, that's not the point. The point is that you are angry at yourself for not doing better. Good. I'm shaking it off. I don't need it anymore. Up it goes. Now that I identify what really the problem is, and I recognize that my aggression that affects my dog, I was communicating and transferring that information to the dog that I was angry. And the dog, because they have this ability to tune in with the environment, right? They tune into your state of mind and then they do the same thing. Interesting. Now, the dog has a reason why he does that. He has his own problems, he has his own troubled past, he has his own trauma, his own struggles. And instead of holding space for the dog and walking him through the process, try to understand why he feels that way. We try to control it by suppressing it. So we're not listening to the dog, we are suppressing it. And you know what's going to happen if we suppress things? It's going to compensate internally. And then you know how the combustion engine works. You compress the gas and then you just such a spark and a kaboom, right? So you compress the whole thing, you walk out the door, and all the dog needs is one spark. Kaboom. And then it gives you a reason for get yourself angry and upset because your dog behaving like a jerk. But in reality, if we hold space for it a little bit and think on that bridge, you're on the side where the dog is angry and frustrated, and you're angry and hate yourself for that, and you want to cross that bridge. What things do you want to leave behind? The suppression, the anger, the frustration, and the fear. All these things you don't need. So before you cross the bridge, what do you want to see at the other end? Start creating that picture. If I'm leaving my bad side that I'm right now, where do I want to end up on the other side? I want to be confident. I want to be able to communicate with my dog. I want to feel safe and secure. What do I take with me? The first thing I want to take with me is the ability to listen to my dog. is my dog needs to feel safe. Exactly, Barbara. And I'm the one that can explain to you how difficult it is if I have to share some things and I don't find the right word. I get angry about it. And so does my dog. My dog tries to tell me, I'm stressed. I hate going for a walk. I need to go for a walk, so my needs need to be met, but I hate going for a walk because then I have other problems with it. So at that point, before you cross the bridge, I would like you to take a deep breath in and focusing on your dog. What does my dog want to tell me? So while you communicate with your smart part, you also can communicate with your dog, right? So tell your dog, I see you. Now that I know how I feel, I'm going to take a deep breath in and I want to feel how you feel. Let's do that test. Take a deep breath in and close your eyes, and for a moment, settling in your seat, you're relaxed, your hands are relaxed, your shoulders are relaxed, and we're going to go slowly, slowly from our head. We'll find this balance of our head there, right? A little bit forward, a little bit back, a little bit side, left side, right side. Try to find where your head will less likely tilt if you let go of that holding pressure, right? So you find that spot, and I would like you to focus on your shoulders. Loosen your shoulders. Let your hands sink in your chair or in your couch or in the bed, wherever you are. You guys who are driving, don't do that exercise, right? And now I would like you to focus on your chest. Take a deep breath in and let your chest relax. Slowly, slowly, you can hear your heartbeat pumping in your ears. Take a deep breath. Count your heartbeats for a second. Tube, 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 tube. Okay, I got my heartbeat. And now I'm going to focus on my belly. Now, I'm not talking about your weight and your waist side. I'm just focusing on your belly. Any grumbling, anything. And then I'm focusing on my butt, where I'm sitting on. I want to make myself sitting comfortable in my chair. If my right cheek is more under pressure, I'm gonna move my, oh, see, I have to move my wallet out of my pocket because I'm sitting on my wallet. See, I just discovered that. And now I'm focusing on my upper limbs, everything relaxed on my knees. And now I'm gonna find the perfect position from my legs to stand on my feet so I don't feel any pressure. Okay, now I feel myself aligned. And now I want to look into myself and see if there's anything in my body that I feel. Anything. You don't need to text me right now. Just think about it. What could it be that I feel right now? I feel this agony, for example, or I feel this pressure on my shoulder, or I feel my belly aches. Anything that is. And for a moment, I would like you to breathe into it and acknowledge it because it's your body trying to talk to you, right? And then say to your body, I understand. Thank you for telling me how you feel. I will address it. I will take care of it. I will find a solution to the problem that my belly has or my shoulder has. And I want to relax to that and breathe into it. And if any emotion comes up with that, let it come up. It's okay. You have the right to feel the way you feel. There's nothing wrong with it. And now that you identify your body aches and your emotions are connected to that, and I would like you for a moment to neutralize these thoughts, acknowledge your pains, and for a moment, I would like you to focus on your dog and see if you get any feelings that come in from his side. How does my dog feel like right now? And see if you have a new weird feeling or new emotion that comes into. That's the emotion that comes in for your dog. So you ask your dog a question. And now you get the emotional feedback. That makes sense? And now that feedback is your pain and your emotion aside of your dog's pain and your dog's emotion. And now you will be able, as a human being, that awesome you are, to feel both things at the same time and separate them in yours and theirs, right? And so, as simple as that, you start establishing a communication channel by slowing down your sound and upping the dog's sound a little bit, lowering down your feelings and up the dog's feelings. And now you know how your dog feels. And trust it. There's nothing wrong with it. Don't try to put the logic into that because emotion has its own intelligence. It's way more smarter than your brain is. And I'm not saying you're not smart, you're super smart, but the emotions are smarter because they're connecting with the environment. They know more. We just try to make sense of it, right? We're going to coordinate that later. So now that we have that feeling, I would like to see if you see any image coming with that emotion. Ask your dog, now that you tune in with your dog, show me the picture that is connected to that emotion. So my dog shows me a picture of being in the backyard in a small yard, maybe 20 by 30 backyard of concrete, and he's chewing his bone, but there's not so much sun. And that's what most likely he was dealing with as a puppy. And so he actually feels good because it makes him feel safe. So if he doesn't have this room to play in that area, this confined, safe area, he doesn't feel safe. He needs a sense of safety. But that's information that I can work on. I need to trust that information because it didn't come from my brain, it came from my heart. Because the emotion is being born in your body, not in your brain. So take that information and start working on that. How can I make my dog feel better? I got the information safety and smaller environment. Good. That will be my answer. Now, if I pass that bridge, I want to have that in my perspective. How can I make my dog's environment safe? He likes to chew things in a closed, safe environment. And I'm not talking about a crate. I'm talking about an area 30 by 20 for my dog, for example. And I'm going to try it. See if that information is of value. Does my dog indeed feel better in that size? Does he calm down? Right? Now, in example for a dog walk on a leash, let's say, for example, I'll try to tap into, okay, I'm going to tap into one of my dogs again. So I'm going to put into my mind, hey, let's go for a walk. The first thing I feel is agony. Agony that the walk would not last long and it's false and fake. Huh. Okay. So that means that even if I take my dog for a walk, he thinks that this piece of the walk is just temporary because I only walk him before I leave. And that causes him anxiety. Interesting. Okay. So when I tap into that, suddenly I recognize that the way I think my walk will be is not the way my dog perceives it. Because I was able to move my emotions away from it, my guilt feelings and whatever, and tap into my dog's feeling. And my dog tells me that he has an agony that if I'm taking him for a walk, then he comes back home, I will leave. So I'm dealing with separation anxiety. Huh, interesting. Okay. So now what I have to do is I have to find a solution. So what is the solution? So I take a deep breath in and send it up to my smart part and bring it back in. Okay, I have to be more consistent with taking the dogs for a walk and not only before I leave. Duh. Okay, that makes sense. So, what I was able to do is asking information that is related to my dog without putting me in the center point, putting my dog in the center point. Now, what I was able to do is modulate my sending of that conversations, that information, to tune into the receiver, right? It's like hacking your dog's perception and find that tuning into, try to find that modulation that you need to reach your dog. Instead of waiting for your dog to reach you, you're the smarter part. You connect to your dog. Now, you wanted a new way to make things different? That's a good start. And I know it sounds weird and woo woo, but think of that. How do we create every day our reality? We wake up in the morning, we look at our phone, and we look at the bank account, and we create that reality of misery and agony and anxiousness because we programmed ourselves the moment we wake up what's going to happen, right? So let's look in the other direction. I'll take my dog for a walk, grab that leash. What comes up to the dog's mind? The same thing you did when you look at your phone and your bank account. He sees the leash, he sees you, he sees the door. He's like, oh, yeah, right. You're going to go for a walk. And then down the street, the other guy will bark at us. And my partner will yank at me and being upset about it. And again and again. How can we change that? How can we turn it around and says, hey, today I'm going to listen to you. So I'm holding the leash. And the dog is like, whatever. No, what do you want me to do? And your dog is like, what do you mean? I'm asking you, what would you like to do? Do you want to go for a walk or you don't? And your dog, for the first time, asking is being asked a question and expect an answer that you will be listened to. So, all I would like you to do is just hold the leash in front of your dog and see what's going to happen. If your dog calms down, if your dog sits down, I would like you to reward your dog and put his leash on. Why? Because he told you that now he feels calmer and now he's ready for the next step. What he just did was basically a two-way communication. You asked the question, you got the answer. He asked you the question, you gave him the answer. And all of a sudden, it becomes an exchange. What's your opinion? My opinion is that. I like your opinion. I'm going to do that too. Great. We both go for a walk. And if you open that door and your dog is like, ah, because it's always going to happen, then you can tell your dog, I don't like that. I'm actually scared of that. I'm afraid that I'm going to get angry. How about we go back in the house and start all over again? And suddenly you give your dog another option. Option A, option B. Option A, I don't like where it's going. Option B, I like where it's going. So you call your dog back in, close the door, and says, hey, let's try that again. I have a leash. What do you do? And he's like, so I do have options? Absolutely. If you don't like it, if you feel anxious outside, I'm going to bring you back into the safety. So we create a safety feature. We tell the dog he doesn't have to go when he doesn't feel good. It makes him anxious and his anxiety goes over the roof. We can go back into safety. And you make a U-turn, go back in. Right? And I know your dog is going to pee because he wants to go to the bathroom. Okay, let him pee. And then go back in. Let him pee quickly and then go back in. Speaking of. And all of a sudden, you recognize that once your dog recognizes that he has choices, he's much calmer because he doesn't have to. You would like him to, but if he doesn't like it, then we don't do it. We do it different. And now you start creating that bridge that he can let go of his things that he doesn't like and walk across that bridge without to carry all this crap from the previous day. And suddenly you will recognize your dog actually perceive his environment better. He actually recognized that his anxiousness and his anxiety put him in a tunnel vision. He didn't even know where he lives. He only knew the inside of the house. He didn't know the outside of the house. And now, by doing so, you're opening up a new completely field of your dog's mindset. Now, you help him see things better. Have you had that experience? That suddenly you had these options and now you'll be able to think through these options and all of a sudden your perception changes and your overview kind of see things from a different perspective? What would you think your dog would do if he could have that option too? If we look dogs in nature, all they do is making choices all day long. There's nobody there telling them what to do and don't and that and treats and clickers and everything. What they do is they learn from observing how others react to a situation and they imitate that situation. So if everybody hangs around like doing nothing while the car drives by, huh, everybody's cool about it. I guess I can be cool too. But if everybody runs and barks, then that dog is attracted to run and bark too. Why? Because that's what we do, I guess. Why did you get a phone? Because everybody has a phone. Why did you get a car? Because everybody has a car. Why did you get married? Because everybody tells you you have to get married. So we do things because many people tell us to do things or they do things for us, before us, and so we copy that. Well, guess what? You don't have to. You can change your mind. You don't have to do it. But if you do it, make a proper decision that you really want to do it, the way you want to do it, it makes you feel good. So if you take the dog out for a walk, make sure you feel good about it before you start the walk, and then you can focus on your dog feeling good about it. Because only if you are aware of how you feel on your side, then put it aside for a second, then you can feel how your dog feels, then you'll be able to process his information, then you can help him. If it's really only about you, then you will not be able to listen because you're tuning in into a different frequency and your dog's trying to tell you something and it just passes by you but never gets into your mind. Now, what we have said so far, what's your takeaway here? Is there anything you could take away from here? Was I able to convey information to you? What message did you get? I'm curious to see or to listen. So take maybe a moment and type it in while I'm freezing my ass off because I let my dog out. It's like 20 degrees outside. What is your takeaway? If you took nothing away from it, then I would like to hear about it. So I know which part was missing. So I can tune in better. Because it's literally through this communication conversation, we can slowly hone in and fine tune. Have you heard the radios? Some of you don't even know about the radio, but you listen to the radio and you have to tune in, and then you have these fluctuations, and you change the antenna a little bit, and this is a perfect signal, that signal you want to keep. So see that trying of communication is something very solid. Sometimes you have to adjust things. Sometimes are better, some days are less. But all you want to do is making those improvements. And as you every day make those little adjustments, little improvements, you will see that every day, faster and faster, you're going to find that session 95.9. I'm not advertising any channel, I don't know, just saying a number. And the first thing you do, 99.9, right there, boom, you're right in connection, and you take your dog out for a walk, and things are cool. Now, at the same time, when you're able to tune in and hone in into that conversation and tap into your dog's emotions, hi, buddy. Well, let me close the door. and you're able to make those little conversations, you slowly recognize how your dog's feelings are changing throughout the day and throughout a conversation and throughout an interaction. And all of a sudden, you become more aware. So basically, bottom line is that being in a relationship with your dog, you have to be aware of how you feel and how your partner feels. And why is it important? Why do you think it's important to be aware? Because if you're not aware, then you will not see the change. If you're not aware, you will not see your dog's struggles. If you're not aware, you will not be able to listen what your dog is trying to tell you. And trust me, I've tried it. No dog had talked me back. Hey buddy, how are you doing? Oh, I'm fine. My dogs cannot talk. But I can see body language. I can see and recognize, because I'm aware, how each body position, tails, ear, head, coat, leg distribution, how my dog feels. And you will see that the dog's communication to you and communication to his environment is kind of this sender, this radio station that emits constantly that feeling information constantly. It's kind of like a constant changing picture where everything matters on that picture. And you have to be aware and read those signals, right? Let's give it an example. I'm going to play with you a video here, if I can, if I find it. And you tell me what you see. Okay? What did you see? Did you see a comfortable dog who felt good what happened to him? Or did you see a dog who didn't feel comfortable what happened to him? I'm going to play that again, but I would like you to remove yourself from your mind thoughts and feel the dog as he is in that picture. Put yourself in the other direction, okay? Let's play that again. What do you think happened in that video? And this is a great couple. I would say, you know what? They should marry, right? They're awesome. And that dog, what is the dog's message? You cannot do wrong. Don't think that I will judge you for commenting something that it's not. We're going to just talk about it. I'm curious to see what you guys see, and we're going to talk about that. Okay, Michelle. Anybody else? What do you guys think? Okay. So I can't move. Okay, that's good. Good observation. And not happy. Good. So let me pull that video up again for you and see if I can show it to you again. Um, how can I do that? Oh, I think I can do it like this. Okay, let's see if I can do that. Make it much smaller. Here we go. So the first sign that we see here is eyes closed. Can you see this eyes being closed? And then on the other hand, you're going to see how the person is holding the dog's legs. The next thing we're going to look for is the twitching. You see how the dog closes his eyes and his ears are back? His mouth is closed, right? It's trying to move, but is being held in place, right? Now, people who say, "Oh, isn't he cute? He just licks his people. Oh my God, I want a dog like that." But licking is comforting. So the way these people felt to that dog, he felt the need to comfort them because they're not doing well. He's telling them very politely, "Hey, you're not feeling well to me. Maybe you should feel better. So change your behavior because you're doing to me doesn't feel good to me." So it's not about the dog loving them. Of course, he loves them, but it's telling them very politely, "Hey, I don't like what you're doing. How about you cut it off a notch? How about you chill out a little bit? Poor guy, you're very anxious, doing all these things to me that I don't like." And don't be fooled. It's not humanizing dogs. It's understanding what they're trying to tell you. Because the next thing would be is him walking away because he wants to be with them. It doesn't mean he doesn't want to be with them, but he doesn't like the way they do it. And if he would walk away, he couldn't because he was held in place. So the dog couldn't walk away. So he made the less stressful response to telling them, "Hey, chill out. You feel very tense. Your behavior feels very tense to me." Of course, these people wanted to make a video because it's a video for promotions, right? You see what I'm talking about here? You see what we have to look for? If we think only with our mind and see that picture and we put our pictures in the people's mind, then we see how cute those people love their dogs. And if you focus on the dog's feelings, and feelings come through a picture and they come through a video because this information is out there in the quantum field, you can tap into that at any time. You can feel how the dog feels or felt back in time. And then you recognize, oh, wait a minute, he actually doesn't feel comfortable. Well, that's interesting, right? So, what do you if we look at another video? How about we look into that? What do we see? The dog is alone, right? Huh? What do we see here? Yeah, of course, it's somewhere where these beautiful flowers are. Some of you already recognize the flowers. I would like you to tune in into that dog. How do you feel? Anyone? What does my dog feel to you? So we see suddenly that the picture completely changes, right? Exactly. Happy and alert. Ears forward, his eyes are comfortable, his mouth is open, he's slightly panting, he's breathing nicely, he's relaxed, he's not very tense. And we see in the background the hand is moving and petting the dog while something in front of him actually gets his attention. Good? Nice catch. And what if we look at another picture? Now I would like you to do the test. I would like you to tune into the person. I would like you to tune in with the dog. See if you can feel that dynamic as it happens in front of you at the same time while you're watching that play. The question is, do you feel this person is staging how she feels? Do you feel the dog is staging how he feels? Do you feel that they really don't like playing with each other? How does it feel to you? And don't judge just by the picture, seeing a person playing with a dog. Try to hone into the individual. You see how suddenly you will be able to observe in a reality, in a moving motion picture, you can tap into emotions of individual in that picture and picking up their dynamics. Okay? So what do you think the female person feels about it? And then the next answer would be, how do you feel the dog feels about it? Take your time. So, I see you guys struggling with it. What I see, if I play that video again and tap into that, I feel the dog is really in tune with his game and his toy. I would say he's actually resource guarding a little bit. He wants to play with himself. This person is really trying to get his attention and get him personally to interact with, but there's a little bit of a disconnect here. They are not connecting to each other. They're just playing two different games. She's playing the dog and the dog is playing the toy. And I would like you to tap into your smart part. Take a deep breath in. What should I change to make that picture more connecting? And I'm curious to see what information you would get from your smart part. And each one of you will have, of course, a different answer. So that's why I'm saying there's nothing wrong with your answer, because each one of you perceive a certain frequency bandwidth. Each frequency and a bandwidth for you to capture how much information out of that. So in the beginning, you will have a very narrow bandwidth. You always can capture like little pieces of it. And as you get more proficient to that, your bandwidth will change further and further. And as you see an event happening in front of you, you will be able to have the answer in real time as this happens. Now, if you take your dog out for a walk and you're walking down the street and you hone yourself, let me see. Good. I think this is a good answer. Very smart from your part. Because she is chasing the dog and the dog is chasing the toy. So they're chasing each other. They're playing a predatory game. But that game is not supporting the relationship to get better. It will always be a chasing game. It will never be a follow game. So, smart, I would also add to that, if the only way to make some changes is to become aware, how do I get the dog to come to me? Right? Anybody else pick something up? Everyone's information may be very important to get a complete picture, right? So when I do my online behavior assessments and ask people to show me a video interacting with the dog, I'll get a lot of information out of that. I can see the dynamic that happens in that game. I see how the dog searches for communication, searches for interaction, troubleshoot a gap in that communication. And then at the same time, I see how does the partner respond to that? How is the partner tuning into that? Can the partner troubleshoot a miscommunication that just happened? And then I have to pull up my smart part and says, hey, what would be the perfect solution? And I have to basically connect with the smart part of the dog and connect with the smart part of the person and come to the conclusion, what is the best plan of action to help both having an amazing relationship? But it's not me who has to do the relationship part. It's them that have to do it. So my goal is to get them over the bridge, make sure they leave all this crap behind and start focusing and manifesting their perfect relationship that they want to be in the future, and let the past relationship and past event in the other side of that bridge. And that's the important part. Now, let's look at the other scenario. What if I would use aversive tools to make the dog's mind change? What do I change? I change the way the dog feels. No, I change the way the dog thinks. Because I cannot change emotions. I can change thoughts that trigger emotions. And those emotions will change the way the dog behaves at the end. So if I come up with a plan and the dog thinks that I'm going to do something that he doesn't like, he will have negative emotions. So if I go out for a walk and I'm already holding the prong collar, the shock collar, or the mood control in my hands, then the dog thinks I'm going to punish him, and he will do that he needs to do because he will be afraid to do something else. And all you do is compressing that relationship until it explodes. So all we do is taking the garbage from the one side of the bridge, moving into the other side, plus adding another garbage on top of it. Now, at some point, while I'm trying to cross the bridges, at some point my bridge will collapse because I'm overweight. And then what's going to happen is I have ruined my relationship to a way of no return. And then I have a disaster. And then I have to call animal control. And then I dump my dog in the shelter. Because before that, I had all these people to tell me how I put more things on my bridge, and at the end it's going to collapse. So if you want to go over that bridge, you have to be force free. You have to be stress free. You have to be empathetic. You have to become aware of your dog's feelings. You have to become aware of your feelings. Now, if you think you can make a shortcut and make it quick, all you do is you put yourself at risk and your dog to make that bridge collapse. Because the bridge that you build to get there is not solid. It relies on sticky patches and duct tapes and charged batteries and in your dog's morals and ethics. And it doesn't help your dog. It doesn't help your relationship. So if you want to do something new and you want to change something, all you eventually have to do, eventually, is make your dog feel safe and secure in a secure attachment relationship with you. And the only way to get there is for you to become aware that it's about the relationship. It's not about you feeling in power. It's for your dog feeling safe. The dog understands his role in that family, in that relationship. The dog understands exactly how to control the situations. He needs to feel in control. And he needs to have a plan. If he cannot predict what's going to happen, it's not going to work out. Right? So, that said, I hope it helped you think about things. And I know today was a little bit of complex and complicated, but I do feel that you were listened to it and you heard it and you can take something out of it and get rid of things before you cross the bridge and make your new day a better day. And if you need help with your dog and you're struggling with certain things, reach out. No big deal. Okay? It doesn't cost you a fortune to get the help that you need. It doesn't, you don't need to buy tools to fix that relationship. All you have to do is let go of the past thoughts and past systems that you were into and open your mind with something that is naturally between you and your dog already there that needs to be cleared out, debugged, decluttered. Get rid of those underlying misprograms that all they want to do is make you feel good at any cost. That's not the way to go. And I know it's boring, right? There is no drama or things big happening. But once you can feel the shift, once you can see what's happening in that situation right now, you see how active it actually is. All of a sudden, a completely new perspective opens up, and then you see things that nobody have seen before. Unfortunately, you will see so many videos out there. People do things to dogs, and all they do is they put a smile on it. Oh, what you do? You just yank your dog, throw him a newspaper, and see, voila, problem fixed. Ha! And you buy into that smile, and you see the dogs change because of that fear. But they're stuck on the other side of the bridge. It doesn't cross over. So you have that opportunity. So thanks for watching. And next Saturday, we're going to talk more stuff. So don't forget, subscribe, like, follow, so you don't miss that video again. And thank you for your participation. And I'm looking forward for your feedback. And of course, you can reach me at holisticdogtraining.org. Have a great rest of your weekend.